Okay, so this is New York Times pseudo card for November 7th, 2024. This is my walkthrough, and you can play this Sudoku from the link in the description. Okay, let's get it going. First thing first, let me place some singles. I can place 1 in box 1 because 1 in box 4 blocks these. 1 in box 7 blocks this cell. 1 in box 3 blocks this cell. Gives me 1 here. I can place 6 in box 4. 6 in box 6 blocks this cell. 6 in box 5 blocks this cell. 6 in box 1 blocks this cell. Gives me 6 here. I can place 8 in box 7 because 8 in box 9 blocks these. 8 in box 8 blocks these. 8 in box 1 blocks this cell, gives me 8. And I can place 9 in box 2. 9 in box 5 blocks these. 9 in box 8 blocks these. Gives me 9 here. I'm quite sure there are more, but now I want to move on. And on row 4, there's only one cell that's not blocked by 8. 8 in box 1 blocks this cell. 8 in box 8 blocks this cell. 8 in box 9 blocks this cell. So this becomes 8. And now there's a double in box 5. It's a double of 2 and 3. So 2 in box 4 and 2 in box 6, they block these 2 cells. So 2 will have to come in here. Now looking at row 6, 3 in box 1 blocks this cell. 3 in box 3 and box 9, they block these 2 cells. So 3 will have to be in one of these 2 cells. And both of these numbers can have to use one of these 2 cells. So it's a 2, 3 double. And that gives me 2 numbers I can use for these cells, which are 1 and 4. And here's 1 in box 4, which blocks this cell, gives me 4, and gives me 1. And this 1 blocks these cells in box 6. 1 in box 4 blocks this cell. 1 in box 3 blocks this cell, gives me 1 here. And this 1 blocks these cells in box 9. 1 in box 3 blocks these. 1 in box 7 blocks here. That gives me 1 here. And continuing with 1, I can place 1 in box 2. 1 in box 1 blocks these. 1 in box 3 blocks these. 1 in box 5 blocks this cell, gives me 1 here. And now this 1 blocks these cells in box 8. 1 in box 5 blocks these. 1 in box 7 and 9, they block these, gives me 1 here. And now I have here 4 and 8 double. Right. Right, okay, so let's move on. I can place 2 in box 9. 2 in box 3 blocks this cell. 2 in box 6 blocks this. So that gives me 2 here. Yeah, that means 2 cannot be here because of 2 in box 7 and 2 in box 9. That we put 2 in on this line in box 2 or column 6 here or here because of 2 in box 3. Sorry. Well, that could be useful later, but it's good to make a note of it, I think. Okay, so let's move on. What did I put? 2. Okay. 3. Yeah. Okay, now I can place 8 in box 3. To do that, I want to look at box 6 first. 8 in box 9 blocks these in box 6, which means 8 will be here or here in box 6. In turn, it will block this cell, so this cell cannot be 8. And 8 in box 9 also blocks these. 8 in box 1 blocks this cell, gives me 8 here. And that gives me 8 in box 2, because this 8 blocks these. 8 in box 1 blocks this cell. 8 in box 8 blocks this cell, gives me 8 here. Okay, so now these 4 cells are looking for 2, 3, 4, 6. If you're marking, the easiest way is put all of them here, and here's 4 and 6, and I get, so this cell can only be 2 or 3. That creates 2, 3 double. If you're not using markings, just remember it's 2, 3, 4, 6, and 4 and 6 blocks this cell, and this cannot be 2 actually, because I think I mentioned earlier that for column 2, because of 2 in box 7, which blocks this cell, 2 in box 9, which blocks this cell, 2 in box 3 will block this cell. So for column 6 to have 2, it has to be placed here or here. That means I cannot place 2 in here, which makes this cell 3. And that makes this cell 2, and that makes this cell 3. And now these 2 cells will be 4 and 6. That's what's missing from, that's what are missing from column 5. And these 2 cells are 2 and 5. And 2 is here already, so I can put 5 here and 2 here. And that gives me 3, 7 double here. 3 here in box 9 blocks this cell, gives me 7. That gives me 3 here. And now this row is looking for 4, 6, 7, but there's only one cell that's not blocked by 6. 6 in box 4 blocks this cell. 6 in box 6 blocks this cell. That gives me 6 here and 4, 7 double. But I can already place 7 in box 3 by looking at 7 in box 6, which blocks these. 7 in box 2 blocks here. That gives me 7 here. That gives me 4 and 7. And these 2 cells will be 5 and 9, because that's what's missing from, because they are missing from column 8. And 5, 9 double here means this cell has to use 7. Okay. And now I can place 7 in box 1, 7 in box 2 blocks this, 7 in box 3 blocks this cell, 7 in box 7 blocks this cell, gives me 7 here, which blocks this cell in box 4, 7 in box 7 blocks this, 7 in box 6 blocks this cell, gives me 7 here. And now I can place 8 in box 4, 8 in box 1 blocks this, 8 in box 7 blocks this cell, gives me 8, and that gives me 4. And now 8 in box 9 blocks this, means this is 8. And these are 3 and 9. Okay, I should fill this cell, which is the last cell on column 7, and the missing number is 9. And this 9 blocks these in box 1, 9 in box 2 blocks here. That gives me 9 here, which blocks these cells in box 4, gives me 9 here. And this row is missing 3 and 9, and this 9 has made this cell 3, gives me 9, gives me 3, and the missing number here is 4. The last number of this column is 5, which gives me 9 and 5. And this 5 in box 4 blocks these cells in box 1, gives me 5 here, and these two will be 4 and 9. 9 in box 9 blocks this cell, gives me 4 and 9, and these are 3 and 6. Yeah, and 3 in box 9 makes this cell 6, gives me 3, 6, and 4. And these two cells are 2 and 4. 2 in box 3 makes this cell 4, and this is 2. 4 and 4 blocks these, gives me 4 here. 6 blocks this cell, gives me 6. The last number of this row is 6, gives me 5, 5, and 2. Okay, here it is. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.